fair has been hosted by the Labour Department, in particular the National Employment Bureau, along with Diamond Global Recruiting Inc. Diamond Global is a Canadian-based company, and we have for the last couple of years been working with them. As you may be aware, there have been a lot of job opportunities in Canada for quite a few years, and we have tried through our liaison service to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. However, our staff in Canada is very small, and while we have been looking at the possibility of expanding our liaison service in Canada, you would appreciate that there would be significant costs attached to engaging officers and sending them up to Canada. And so we engaged the services of Diamond Global. Since we've been with them, we have been very successful in having officers, having Barbadians placed all across Canada. We were in particular trying to get into the western parts of Canada. The oil sands in Alberta have led to a lot of opportunities, not just in the oil industry, but also the spin-off from that. There's been a lot of growth in Alberta and surrounding areas. Including shops that have been coming up. You're seeing more restaurants, more hotels as that area attracts more people for business. There's also been need now for home help and care for the elderly and those kinds of things. So we have been very particular to try to see what we can get out of Western Canada. The Diamond Global folks are also aware that that has been our focus, and a lot of what they are looking for us is in Western Canada. But they're finding opportunities in other places as well. Since we've been with them, we've brought on some new businesses, including some new restaurants that we hadn't worked with before, and restaurants and cafes and that kind of thing, fast food chains. We also have folks who are doing all kinds of things. What comes to mind too is we have folks that are with a cleaning company in Alberta, and they go and they clean out businesses, after hours, including slaughterhouses. Now, it's not the type of work. That type of work, some of it is work that you and I may very readily say we want to do. I can go and I can work in a McDonald's, for example, or in Canada they have Tim Hortons, so you go and work there. But they have found that some of the jobs the Canadians may not want to do, and they're not getting a lot of Canadians to take advantage of those opportunities. So they come here. They tell you up front exactly what it is. You know what you're going up there to do, and you take on these jobs. What the government of Canada has been doing to try to attract people to take some of these jobs, because they know Canadians aren't particularly interested and they need to have those skills as well. So it's not just high skills, but all levels of skills they know they need. So what the government of Canada has been doing is they offer a package. If you come and if you work and you stay above the law, you stay clean for 2 years, then at the end of that contract, you're also entitled to immigrant status in Canada. That, for a lot of people, is quite attractive. However, it does mean 2 years working in freezing cold. In the summer, Edmonton and Alberta is cold. In the winter, that would be much of an understatement. In fact, they would be glad to have it cold in Edmonton in the winter, because they really do see -10s and 12s and even lower in the winter. I've been in touch with some of the guys who have been in Alberta now for more than a year, and they're coping. As you would have heard in an earlier press statement from the representative from Diamond Global, the kind of person who will take advantage of these opportunities would be somebody who is adventurous. I think first and foremost what comes to mind is adventurous, because you're not leaving home to go to a house like yours to work. And we sensitize them to this. You're going on an adventure. It's a different environment, a different culture, the weather is different, the work you're doing may be different, and you're away from home, from friends and family and so on. Thankfully, with Skype and BB and so on, folks have been keeping in touch. Some of the folks that went up earlier, they're on my BB, so I know I hear from them very regularly. So it's not like before where you couldn't stay in touch. So they are managing to stay in touch. What they have been doing is they've been making for themselves a database as well. All right, so even if they come for this trip and they're looking for 150 or so, they have a database, because already we have seen more than 1,500 people over the past 2 days. So they have about 1,500 people on record. And every time they've come, they've said to me at the end of the trip, oh, this was a great trip. We found more than what we were looking for. And that has happened. They've been here a few times already. Every time they've come, they've said to me, oh, this was a good trip. We found more than what we were looking for. And so if they came for one company, they were able to say, well, you know what, we have another company that is looking for X and Y, let's do that, because of how they work. They're a recruiting company. They're not just for a particular business. As a recruiting company, they have staff, they have clients. So they may come looking for clients for one area, but then they may realize, hey, this person may fit the bill there, and this other person may fit the bill there, and they're keeping a database so that as they, as the needs come up, they would know too. Because we've had such a terrific response over the last 2 days, they would now have a database that they can work with. And where possible, we're trying to use the technology too, so that we can do interviews by Skype where necessary too. That has happened as well. We've done some interviews by Skype. So it's not always going to be for them to have to come here every time they're looking for somebody. But Barbadians, by and large, have been impressing when they come before recruiters, and not just these. We've had recruiters from hotels and so on come. Every few weeks or so, we have recruiters coming out, and by and large, the quality of the worker is excellent. You know, I always try to meet with those employers when they come here. Normally a courtesy call or something, I try to meet with them, and usually they're quite satisfied with what they have. Part of that means that before our recruiters see them, we in the Labour Department have to see them as well and let them know, well, all right, if you're going to an interview, this is what happens. So we don't just take them raw off the street and send them to the recruiter. All right, we have to know, well, you have an interview, we expect you to dress a certain way when you go before the recruiter. Essentially, we say to them, you're ambassadors. So when you go, we want you to not only look good, but to work diligently, so that when the employer has more vacancies, they will call up Diamond Global and they will say, listen, you have any more Bajans like the one you sent us? That's what we want. Because there are opportunities in Canada, and there are a lot of countries that are vying for those opportunities. Guatemala, Philippines, Jamaica, among the I think Kenya. There are a lot of countries that are vying for opportunities. One advantage that our employers have indicated so far is that the Barbadian worker is articulate, speaks English, even if it's Bajan, they speak English and they understand English. Too many Barbadians, young Barbadians, not the older ones. The older ones seem to understand the protocol, but I find there are too many young Barbadians who walk into workplaces as if it is Saturday night and expect that they can come and impress somebody, that they can get the job. And then when they get the job, then they will know how to put on business wear. And you ask them, but why are you here like this? Well, I ain't come to work, I just come for an interview. You know? And I'm seeing that too much, where girls are wearing camisole tops that don't fit, they don't cover, and the skirts, they wear heels that the heels are longer than the skirts. And that is how they show up for interviews, you know? Where guys show up for interviews with a comb in their hair. This is something that, I don't know, I'm sure they were taught differently. But when we tell our young people, when our young people say they want work, then we need to ensure that they know how to present themselves when it's time to get the work. So we at the Labour Department have been trying to encourage our workers that when they come to the Labour Department, they look a certain way. When they come for interviews, they look a certain way. Even if the interview is on Skype, that you look a certain way. Even if you only have to dress from here up for the Skype interview, you know the trick. Just dress from here up for the interview. And that when they go to Canada, they look good. We don't want to have workers who step off the plane in Canada with the locks and the t-shirt with the big ganja leaf and the big high top shoes and the baggy pants, and they go to immigration. Immigration officers' bells start going off. We don't need that on our program. So we've been trying in the Labor Department from very early to sensitize them. When you come, wear a plain button-down shirt, plain pants, black, whatever, something decent. And this is how you present yourself here. This is how you present yourself to recruiters. This is how you present yourself when you travel. We are looking high and low to find jobs for Barbadians. Of course, you know that that's not an easy task. Canada, because their economy had held up for a very long time, even though they have started to see a dip, because their economy had held up for some time, allowed us to find jobs there. But even then, we had lost a few jobs before it picked up again recently, as some of our employers in Canada would have adjusted their business and restructured their businesses so they didn't take Barbadians. Some of our farms in Canada are not taking workers so much now because they have had challenges with their economy and with folks wanting the supply. We had farmers in Canada who did tobacco, but now Canada is not the biggest source, or is not as big a source of tobacco as it used to be, so that the tobacco market is down. So our farmers who used to take workers in that area are dwindling. We used to have workers going to the U.S., both farms and hotels and so on. But because of their economy, the various states were mandated to give jobs only to locals. And then some of our biggest employers in the United States closed down, went out of business, bankrupt. So we had some challenges there. The NEB is also looking to position itself again as the main employment agency within Barbados. We are trying to reestablish links with our employers and with our schools and post-secondary and tertiary institutions, and to build our database here and build capacity within the NEB so that employers looking for jobs would think more readily of coming to the NEB to find those jobs. Right now, NEB is not top of mind for any employer who is looking for workers. But that's where we're trying to position the NEB, so that we would because we see a lot of people, all unemployed people too, come through the NEB. When we have workers who, the unemployed persons, as I said, they come through NEB, but we're also stepping up our career counseling and so on. So, and as I said, establishing better rapport with employers so that we will become the employment agency of choice. I keep insisting to people, if you do not take advantage of the opportunities that are given to you, then if you had no skills, when you go back into the workplace, say when jobs, the jobs are available in another few months, you are immediately putting yourself at the bottom of the pile because you have no skills. Use the time now, use the resources available through the retraining fund, which is free. They just, once they're unemployed, you go, you sign up for the retraining fund, and there are a variety of courses that are offered through the Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic, through the Vocational Training Board, and some other private agencies have come on board with us as well, offering a variety of skills. And what we have noted too is that where people come on board and there are things that they're interested in that may not be on our list, it's not a difficult task to get new things on the list. For example, we recently added digital media. I think was one that we recently added, something to do with film filmmaking and so on. We recently added that as one of our courses because we realized that as folks came through, they expressed an interest, because not everybody wants to do the cakes and the auto body and body work and that kind of thing. Not everybody wants to do that. So we are able to expand the offerings of that program. There's $10 million there, and I want Barbadians who are displaced to take it up. They have not been, not to the amount that I've been, a few hundred, but not the kind of numbers that I want to see. But as folks are displaced now, I believe that this is for them an opportunity. I believe that this is just one opportunity. There are going to be other opportunities as well, and they just need to keep their ears to the ground, continue to check with the Labour Department. The NEB should make sure that all their vacancies are on our website. We do have a website. I know it's not always kept up to date, but to ensure that we put stuff on the website and so they can check the website as well. That would be my best advice to them. And always, don't give up hope. I believe a person's purpose is fulfilled when they're following what their passion is. I believe your passion is linked to your purpose. And if you've been doing bookkeeping, don't just go applying for every job out there that is bookkeeping related. Start to think about what it is excites you, what it is you really would love to do if only you could. If there were no holds barred, what would I really want to be doing? Would I want to be sitting down here in front of a minister on a Saturday morning with a microphone stuck in her face? No, there might be something else I want to do. This is not what God created me for. And so start to think about that and use the retraining fund or other retraining opportunities to get you to there. At the end of the day, you will then be able to look back at this period, this lull, and realize, that was the best thing that happened to me. If that didn't happen, if somebody didn't push me out of there, I might have spent 50 years working as a bookkeeper, miserably, doing a good job, but miserable. Because I came out of there, because I had to come out, I was pushed out of there. I had to find something else to do. And today I am doing ABC and I'm loving what I'm doing. That is my hope for every worker, whether you're employed today or not employed, that you are doing something you love doing. And if what you're doing you don't love doing and you've been pushed out of it, see it as a blessing in disguise. See it as that thing that is going to cause you to have to get to where it is you're supposed to be.